Hello everybody, BeMetalways here. Welcome to another weekly metal album review. This week I'm reviewing Nauseam, Imperceptible Impulse, released by Avant-garde Music on February 12, 2021. Quick background on this band. Nauseam is an experimental death metal band from northern Italy. They make music that is unorthodox, odd, and obscure. In March 2015, they released the debut album Nihil Quam Vascudas Ordinatum Est, obviously in Latin. All of Ad Nauseam records are self-produced, and each band member contributes researching, designing, and building most of the equipment used for the recordings. And they also collect mainly vintage, odds, and uncommon gears, which brings a very unique characteristic to their sound, obviously. Coming to their new album, Imperceptible Impulse. This is their sophomore album featuring 6 tracks in just under 1 hour. Experimental extreme metal is not a subgenre that I review often or even listen that frequently, but the first impressions from Ad Nauseam were good, and honestly, nothing else this week popped up for me to review. The band name, many song titles, album titles, they are all not easy to pronounce, and so it goes with their music. It's not an easy listening, it requires attention. Ad Nauseam's music features very layered and complex patterns, dominated by polyphony and polyrhythms. It merges extreme death, black metal, avant-garde, jazz, classical, post-core, doom, sludge, and ambient song all together in this melting pot. There are a lot of dissonant and unusual sounds throughout their songs. Musically, that's the only parallel I can make. It's a mix of early, like late 60s experimental Pink Floyd meets Meshuggah. Yeah, you heard it right. Of course, it's not Wish You Were Here kind of Pink Floyd that I'm talking about. It's more like the Umaguma album and the ones before that. All songs are around the 9-minute mark, with only Coincidencia Obsortium going up to 12 minutes. But the band does not rely on solos to extend their songs. It's mostly based on going to different places during the song while taking the time for us to appreciate a new musical passage or transition. That includes some quieter and slower moments, for example. I appreciate that as those moments give some relief and it's not chaotic all the time. For example, Horror Vacui has some slow and quiet moments, a sludge, super slow heavy section, and the more characteristic aggressive moments as well. Behind all of this, we can actually hear the sound of vintage instruments forming the base of the songs. It's all really cool and meticulously thought out. The production is raw and refreshing as it moves away from the pristine, overproduced trend of these days. In a way, the production values also remind me of very early Pink Floyd. Now, if I'm being picky here, as I mentioned, this is not my go-to metal, so it takes time to get used to it. All the noises sounding chaotic at times make it difficult to listen to. But while not my favorite, I do appreciate it after some time. Personally, I would like, of course, to have a little bit more groove, a little bit more melody here and there, but that's not the goal of those guys, and I appreciate what they did. On top of it, it's not a short album, so you go in for a long ride. Now, wrapping up things here, Ad Nauseam will certainly pop up in many year-end lists, I believe, not only due to the quality of the album, but for standing out as a very innovative, experimental, and unconventional band. Is it for everyone? Certainly not. It's not even for a big segment of the metal community, but it will captivate the metal listeners with an open mind and looking for something challenging and distinctive. I'm giving it 82 out of 100. A very good album with the potential to grow further on me, as it's the kind of music and album that it takes time. So I hope you will give it a chance and enjoy it. And for the moment, thank you for being here, for listening. Please like, subscribe, and BeMetalways.